Hi, I'm Nick Flynn. It's really an honor to be reading for the ACLU in Penn tonight here in Joe's Pub. It's hard to imagine America without the ACLU or Penn, what it would be like. I was told that we were going to read in some sort of response to this photograph, the 20th anniversary of this photograph. I think I might have known something about the man in the photograph at one point, maybe 20 years ago. I don't remember anything about him. But the photograph, though, seems to me, it looks like he wasn't planning to do this on this day. It looked like he was planning to do something else, and then it just sort of rose up in him to do this amazing thing. He's got his coat in his hand, it looks like, in a bag in the other. He's not wearing like a, machine gun or something. So I'm going to read 5 poems, 5 short poems that, and a lot of them are not ostensibly about something overtly political or standing up to tyranny, but I think almost any poem, in some ways, the individual doing that, any good poem. This is, the first one's by Lucille Clifton. It's called Jasper, Texas, 1998, for Jay Bird. I am a man's head hunched in the road. I was chosen to speak by the members of my body. The arm, as it pulled away, pointed toward me. The hand opened once and was gone. Why and why and why should I call a white man brother? Who is the human in this place? The thing that is dragged or the dragger? What does my daughter say? The sun is a blister overhead. If I were alive, I could not bear it. The townsfolk sing, "We shall overcome," while hope bleeds slowly from my mouth into the dirt that covers us all. I am done with this dust. I am done. This is next poems by the great American poet Denise Levertov, who did a lot of anti-war poems in the 60s, anti-Vietnam War poems in the 60s. And this is one that's not ostensibly about the Vietnam War, but I think the tyranny rises up at a certain moment in it. I think of her sort of like, this poem sort of reminded me of some Emily Dickinson poems, who was also writing in the midst of war. You don't think of her as a war poet, but the Civil War was going on all around her while she was writing. And it bleeds into her poems. This is The Ache of Marriage by Denise Levertov. Thigh and tongue, beloved, are heavy with it. It throbs in the teeth. We look for communion and are turned away, beloved, each and each. It is Leviathan, and we in its belly, looking for joy, some joy, not to be known outside it, 2 by 2 in the arc of the ache of it. It's a poem by Jean Valentine called The Undervoice. As I understand it, most of her poems are written from dreams in some way or another. She's, which I think is really pretty much all art comes from dreams. The Undervoice. I saw streaming up out of the sidewalk the homeless women and men of East Side of Broadway, fruit and flowers and bourbon. The homeless men, like dull knives, gray-lipped, the homeless women, connected to no one, streaming no one to no one. More like light than like people, blue neon, blue the most fugitive of all the colors. Then I looked and saw our bodies, not near but not far out, lying together, our whiteness. And the undervoice said, "Stars, you are mine. You have always been mine. I remember the minute on the birth table when you were born, I riding with my feet up in the wide silver blue stirrups. I came and came and came, little baby and woman, where were you taking me? Everyone else may leave you. I will never leave you, fugitive." It's a poem by the Iraqi poet Sadi Youssef, whose American publisher is here with us. It's translated by Khalid Matawa. This is the last 2 stanzas of his poem, America, America. We are not hostages, America, and your soldiers are not God's soldiers. We are the poor ones. Ours is the earth of the drowned gods, the gods of bulls, the gods of fires, the gods of sorrows that intertwine clay and blood in a song. We are the poor. Ours is the God of the poor, who emerges out of farmers' ribs, hungry and bright, and raises heads up high. America, we are the dead. Let your soldiers come. Whoever kills a man, let him resurrect him. We are the drowned ones, dear lady. We are the drowned. Let the water come. And the last poem is by Brenda Hillman, who lately, the last few years, in response to the war, sort of the sense of helplessness in the face of the war, has been decided to take some action. She goes to Congress and sits in on whatever you call it they do in Congress. What do? They vote on bills, like appropriation bills. And she sits there and writes poems while she sits in behind the congressman and writes these poems. She says, and it's also, she hallucinates. She says she goes to Congress and hallucinates. This is called In the Trance by Brenda Hillman. And it's a great honor to read with all these writers also. It's a great honor. In the Trance. A pretty anarchist said to me, "It's not that a great love happens. What happened became your great love." Her echo had an ancient glow and so proved buoyant for my little craft. I left the world and felt a world. The bee loading its gloves with powder. The albatross wanting one thing from the sea. "Nothing can wreck our boat," said she. And when the water felt the glacier, the future held a present tense. The present held a future without cease. Thank you.